Hello guys, I'm going to show you another video on how you can get a really inexpensive survival kit. This is not something to survive for weeks on end. This is just something really inexpensive if funds are tight, which they are for a lot of us. Throw in your car, throw in your center console, under your seat, kid's backpack, whatever you want to do. It's going to get them through the night, at least through the night. Maybe longer if you have some sort of survival skills or you kind of know what you're doing. These tools are going to help get you where you need to be and at least not die, because that's really the goal, right? Is to not die. It's not to be, we like to be comfortable, but if you get stranded in the wilderness, you just want to make it through the night. The night is the worst part. It's the coldest part. It's the loneliest, scariest. It's dark. You could be wet, lost, whatever it is. A lot of people these days are uncertain about the future with the political unrest, rioting, all these financial, all this stuff. So it's time for you to get your house in order and get you some survival gear if you don't have it. Again, that's from Walmart, and this entire thing costs less than $23. So the first thing you're going to need is some sort of steel or metal container, a cup, right? If you have a Nalgene bottle, you can it'll nest in there. But with this, you can eat, you can boil water, you can drink water out of it. This is your kitchen utensil right here. This is what you got. Your next thing is a fire starter. You strike this, makes sparks, makes fire. Other little extra stuff in here that I didn't mean to have in here. But if you wanted to spend a little extra money, for $5 more, you could get a little multi-tool. That's going to go in the kids' bags. But back with this. So we've got the cup, steel cup, fire starter. This is all at Walmart, guys. All cheap at Walmart. You have this emergency reflective tent. Again, it's not a log cabin with a cozy fire, Santa Claus coming down the chimney. But this is going to be a spot where you can get in out of the weather, out of the wind perhaps a little bit, put your little fire on one end. It's going to keep you dry, because if you get wet, you know how that goes. Well, let's see. Last thing is some sort of cutting tool. So this was the most expensive item. This was like $12. It's not foldable, so that you can go ahead and use it for batoning. If you don't know what that is, that's when you use this to split wood with another piece of wood. You'll just get this in there and you'll hit it. We'll do videos on it at some point. This is just basic kit stuff right here. So, get rid of that bag. We got a cutting tool. We got this. One flaw you might see here is there's no cordage. I didn't have money in the budget for cordage, but with a tarp, you can break branches, put it over, whatever you need to do, wrap it around you. There's always a way. I mean, if the choice is freezing to death or finding a way to make do with just a tarp and no cordage, you can manage. You can manage it. And then, of course, a fire starter and a container. If you wanted to make it even cheaper and even easier, get rid of the fire starter, because this takes a little bit of skill, and have a lighter. Good, it still works. That would have been embarrassing. Lighter, $1. If you want to get even easier, not necessarily easier, but a lot cheaper, you got a book of matches. Obviously, they could get wet, lost, crushed, damaged. There's not an infinite amount here. One thing that's good about lighters is when it's out of gas, you can take it apart and you still have a striker. There's tons of videos out there on how to start a fire with just a striker from a lighter. I'll show you one of my little kits here. This is something I used to keep in like my BDU pants, but it just has two things of matches, rain poncho, a bunch of Ziploc bags, and an emergency blanket. So this was basically something that I was going to use to make a shelter and keep me warm. The extra bags were for collecting anything to eat, anything to burn, and water. So as you're foraging, as you're out wherever you are, you might see dry kindling, dry whatever, moss, trash, cardboard, whatever you see, you pop it in your bag, you put it in your pocket for later. Always on the lookout for things, water sources, ways to start fire. new places to maybe set up camp that are better, that kind of stuff. So anyway, there's really no excuse not to be prepared. This doesn't take up, I mean, look at this. This doesn't take up any room. It might even fit inside the cup. Look at this, is tiny. It's tiny. And it's cheap. There's no excuse to be a victim and to sit there and freeze to death. It's so stupid to get lost or to be in some sort of disaster situation and to just sit there and die or wait for the government to come save you. The government's cool. I don't, you know, that they're out there doing their thing, but they can't save everybody. They even say it on the FEMA website, on all the government websites. Be prepared to spend at least the first 3 days by yourself. And those of you who have, live in flood-prone areas, tornadoes, hurricanes, you know that's true. I grew up in a hurricane or in an earthquake area, and luckily I didn't live through any gigantic ones where the services were out. But you know, the electricity was out for a day or two. Luckily it was California, so you know, it was pretty scary to survive there with perfect weather. But if you live somewhere where the weather can get bad, like I do now in Utah, and you don't have any power, it could get cold, you know. Or if you get lost in the woods or whatever you're doing, just be prepared. Use your brain. You for sure will not regret having too much, you know. But if you don't have it, you'll say, damn it, I wish I could make a fire because it's cold, you know. So anyway, thanks for watching.